Hello, welcome to the Chris Davis Show. I'm your host, Chris Davis, and today we're going to do a review of Season 5 of House of Cards. Now, there's going to be some spoilers in here, so if you haven't seen the latest season of House of Cards, Season 5, please click off this video and go watch it. Watch all of it. All 13 episodes. And when you have, you can click back on this video. But with that being said, we're going to go into the review. Season 5 of House of Cards is amazing. It's spectacular. I know Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright produce and sometimes direct these seasons or these episodes, and I just wonder, how do they keep outdoing themselves every single time? Usually when I think of popular series or television series such as these, I figure that they soon run out of ideas and the story gets bland. But that's not House of Cards. House of Cards keeps getting better and better every season. Every season they keep outdoing themselves. It's just amazing. So you have to see the latest season of House of Cards. It's really great. Now, let me tell you what happens in a nutshell. So, President Underwood, Francis Underwood, which is played by Kevin Spacey, is running against Will Conway, the Republican. In their campaign, Will Conway is ahead. He's ahead because he's the new guy. He's fresh. He's new. He's doing things not really the traditional way. While Francis is really kind of old. So what Francis comes up with is that he's going to use ICO, which is the House of Cards version of ISIS. He's going to do a declaration of war on ISIS so he can gain political support for his campaign, and to distract the investigation of him taking the presidency from his predecessor, President Walker. He's going to use that as a distraction. So people get off of that investigation, and so he can get more political support so he can become president. It works. The investigation of President Walker and how he lost his presidency dies. He gets ahead of Will Conway. Will Conway gets flustered, and when he's on the plane, he says something to his pilots that they recorded. I'll tell you how Francis gets a hold of that recording, because it helps him win the election. So they're still campaigning and stuff, and while they're campaigning, Iko captures a family called the Millers. Now Francis is able to negotiate with Iko with Will Conway to let the family go, but the problem is they only let go of two people, the daughter and the mother. They still have the father. Now the government was negotiating with Iko for his release, but Francis didn't like their terms, so he was making a decision that he was going to capture the Iko, the terrorist who kidnapped the Millers, and he was going to save the father. He sort of fails. The Iko terrorist kills the father by cutting his throat and decapitating him, and he gets away, but then Francis catches up with him. That's why I say he sort of fails. He got him, but it wasn't until much later, until after he had killed the father. In this instance, the daughter and the mother hate Francis, and they don't want anything to do with him. So election day. So election day starts, and Will Conway is ahead. Okay, he's ahead. It looks like he's going to win. But Francis Underwood, uses the the agenda of ICO, the terrorism of ICO, to shut down the voting centers in Tennessee to prolong his presidency. He uses the FBI, he uses the NSA, and he commits like election or voter fraud in order to get the presidency. Okay, but before like he gets the presidency, the polls closed early, so they either do an election in Tennessee and Ohio, or they have it in Congress. Francis is certain that he can win in Congress because he just knows Congress like the back of his hand. But Claire tells him, no, you can't. Congress has changed. There's an overzealous representative called Ramirez, the congressman, and he's just like tenacious, and he's very tenacious. So you need to like take it out of Congress because you won't win in Congress. And if Francis does lose the election, Will Conway is president, and there's a chance that Claire could be vice president. All right, if you don't remember or if you don't know, last season, Francis made Claire his vice president. So if like Francis loses the election, Conway is president, and then there's a chance that Claire could be vice president. That's really if it's held in Congress. But they take it out of Congress in Tennessee and Ohio, and Francis wins. Okay, he wins. The way he does it, he goes out to Legion Fields, where all these Goldman Sachs bankers and oil companies and all these rich people are, who really control America, where all the concentration of power is. They donate money to candidates and make them do and vote how they want to. Like, they have the real power. So there he learns of someone from a tech startup gives him the voice of Will Conway, him cursing out his pilots. And so he takes this to Mark Usher, Will Conway's political advisor, saying, you work for me, because if you don't, I'm gonna like release this out to the press. In fact, I'm gonna do it anyway, so you might as well just come aboard, because I'm going to win. And so do you just want to be on the losing team, or do you want to have something to do afterwards? So being realistic, Mark Usher, Will Conway's advisor, sides with him, with Francis Underwood. They release the tape that really hurts his image, and Francis wins the election. Alright, so Francis won the election. He defeated the committee that was investigating him on how he became president in the first place. So it looks like everything's all right going on from here. But the committee is revitalized by Ramirez. Hammerschmidt, a reporter that works at the Herald, releases some damaging story about him for the election fraud. It revitalizes the committee. It gives it like more steam. And so his presidency is in danger again of impeachment this time. And so basically what Francis decides to do reluctantly is to testify in front of the Judiciary Committee and resign. He's really doing this because he wants Claire to be president. She's most likely going to pass on like his plan, go on with his plan, but what he really wants, as he says, is power. He wants power. So he wants to be like the guys in the private sector, controlling the government from the outside. So that's the plan. He's going to help control the government from the outside in the private sector, while Claire is president and controlling everything else from the inside. That's their plan. In short, he resigns. Claire was supposed to pardon him. She didn't, so he could go to jail. And she's like president. And the last scene, he's trying to call her, asking her why didn't she pardon him, and she doesn't answer. So this whole season has been, well, most of it has been a tension between Francis and Claire, that if he falls, she becomes president. Okay, but Francis wants to be president. He really wants to be president, and that's where the tension is. If he lost to Will Conway, she'd be the vice president most likely, and he would have nothing. Now that he won the election, if he gets impeached or if he decides to resign, she becomes president. And Claire has this really conflict of whether to look out for herself or to stay and support him. And most likely at the end, she decides to really look out for herself. So it's really big and amazing season. It is just phenomenal. I'm just really shocked at the Underwoods. I mean, despite what any of their closest allies do for them, they're still willing to throw anyone under the bus. Even, here's a big one, even Doug Stamper. They ask him to implicate himself in the murder of Zoe Barnes. So they will turn on anyone in order to save themselves. It's very cutthroat. Okay, so that's all I have for today. This is an amazing season. Please go see it. If you haven't seen any of the House of Cards, I would suggest you watch from season 1 all the way to season 5, just so you know what's going on. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you found this video informative or entertaining, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of House of Cards in the comment section below, and all of you have a great day.